too many things. I didn't understand that until 3 days later, when the old people pulled in a net full of fish. They threw fish to anyone standing there. They didn't say, you owe me $5, you owe me $7. They just gave you things. And they were completely nude, those people. And I never saw a guy on the island stare at a female body. They were swimming nude ever since they were that high. And when they made love to a female, they had no fetishes. They stroked the whole female. Do you understand? There were no tit men, leg men, ass men. What you've got today, all the damn variations and fetishes, because women and men have been separated. If everybody in America had a nose a foot long, you'd have surgery done. Do you understand me? People will run down the street and say, she's a funny girl. There's no such thing as beauty. If you bring up people to believe in all this artificiality, you damage their lives and make it almost impossible to function. Love does not exist.
Okay.
Let me explain that to you.
But let me read you a text quickly, because it's going to scroll off the screen and I'll miss it otherwise. Carol says, we would have a new higher consciousness in a new world. Your questions are coming from the ego of this society. That's obviously addressed to me. Yeah. So perhaps she thinks, you know, I'm talking from the old world and you're in the new world. And to some extent I can understand that. I can see that a lot of people would be positively affected by this new world.
Okay. Here's the real story. When I was a kid, I designed an airplane miniature, and it crashed into the ground. And an older kid came over to me and said, your wings are too far back, move them forward. I said, how did you learn that? He says, well, I built one, and it crashed, and some older guy told me. He didn't say, my plane is better than yours. That's the ego thing. My plane is better than yours. Kids, I can run faster than you. I can fight you. My daddy can lick your daddy. Where do they get that? In the competitive system. So I learned by sharing ideas, you both gain. If I attack you and say I can run faster than you, I always said to kids, you probably can run twice as fast as me, to get them off my back. And a lot of people want to hurt you. They say, where did you get that shirt? In the Salvation Army? That's an attack. But if you say, I found it in the reject pile of the Salvation Army, there's nothing further they can say. But you have to understand the grammar of motives. Nobody ever read that book that I talked to called The Grammar of Motives, Mind in the Making by James Harvey Robinson, The Tyranny of Words by Stuart Chase. All those books should be in every university. They're not, because they upset the culture. So there are nice people in the Heritage Foundation that remove books from libraries that they think rock the boat.
Jack, would you abolish religion?
Never, because it'll go underground. You have to educate people out of it.
What we're trying to do is make a society that where all the wishes and aspirations of religion and the highest teachers are made into a reality. I don't see how any religious person would be against what we're doing. You know, in heaven they don't have money. When you do something, they don't say, okay, you can have this and you owe me so much interest. So we're trying to make a heaven on earth.
All right, well, somebody texted in a little while ago, it scrolled off the screen now, but they said, why not set up a political party as a starting point? Have you thought about doing this?
Humans have tried that all through history.
But you have started a movement. You started a movement, haven't you? The Venus Project is a movement. I think it's not a bad idea, really.
Toward education only.
Politicians are there to keep things as they are. They're not there to change things. If you want to be heard in politics, you have to create a lot of money in order to be heard on the media and other places, and then you owe people things. So it's not a political movement that we're after. This is not a political system that we are advocating.
Okay, well, what about another text I had in a little while ago that, again, it scrolled off, but they said, you clearly don't believe in 9/11 as a conspiracy, but do you believe in the Illuminati? Do you believe that there are people who control this world and have a secret agenda? And, okay, they've got everything already. They're not going to be in love with your idea because they've got everything.
They're not.
And we're their slaves.
What do you do about
we're
that?
Their robots.
Is that your question? What do you do about those in control
that is my question.
that run everything?
What's the answer?
Here's what we do about it. The automobile industry failed. It closed down, and you can't sell the factory anymore. It goes into the hands of the government. The banks failed during the Depression. We bailed them out. If you don't bail them out, this time they bailed them out. But it's not going to work out. It's going to continue downhill. More and more unemployed. Obama doesn't know how to solve problems. He may be sincere, but he doesn't know what to do. So as things go downhill, industry, one after the other, will fail. Meaning, a friend of mine owned an aircraft factory. This is true. His name was Berliner Joyce. And the government came and said, we're taking over your factory. This is during the Depression. He said, why? Because you haven't paid taxes on your damn equipment in 3 years. He said, I had no orders for airplanes in the Depression. Take the goddamn factory. Don't you see? If you make computers and she comes up with a chip 10 times as fast as yours, you can't even sell your production equipment anymore. It's obsolete. So I'm saying we're in a new kind of time where things are moving much faster and there's no adjustment. Politicians, which is an old system, our language was designed hundreds of years ago, so we can't talk to each other anymore. We talk at each other. We say, have a nice weekend. Why don't you say, have a nice life? Why just a weekend? Where do you get all that crap from? You get it from the society you're raised in. Kids are competitive because they have to run faster, be on a team that outpaces another, and I never worked that way. I shared my ideas with others, and the smarter other people became, the richer my life. The smarter your kids, the richer our lives. Every kid shooting up drugs, hanging out in gangs. You know where kids hang out today? In malls. There should be art centers, music centers, cultural centers for kids. Because the higher the quality of the kids, the richer the life of the nation.
You know, technology is racing forward, and it's cheaper today for industry to automate. There's no air conditioning, no people that you have to pay, no salaries, no insurance that you have to pay. It's even becoming cheaper to automate than to outsource today. There are many factories at almost 100% automation. So as soon as there are more people who automate, and they have to stay ahead of the competitive edge, then that means that people will not have jobs and they will not have purchasing power to buy the goods turned out. That alone, with many other scenarios, is the end of the free enterprise system, the monetary system.
These are all wonderful ideas, but you still haven't explained how you defeat this Illuminati which you believe in.
Yes, I think it exists.
So how do you defeat them? Because they don't want your new world order, they want their new world order.
All right. Whatever they do will not work, the Illuminati, because their ideas, if you don't update your factory methods, you go out of business. If you're a nice guy and you own a factory and you don't like minimum wage, and he pays his help $10 an hour rather than $5.60, then he builds a playground for the children of the women that work in his plant. He's a nice guy. Nobody's going to invest in your plant because they want the bottom line going up.
Well,
that's where they invest.
Have succeeded with
so
that
if you're
kind
a
of
nice
philosophy,
guy, you won't succeed. If you're a son of a bitch, you will. And you'll succeed in the monetary system. But you will have to outpace other companies. If you can put in, you know what industrial spies are? Like Douglas Aircraft puts people in Northrop, they pay them to see what Northrop is doing. And if you don't outpace them, come out with cheaper planes, better built, you go out of business. So the giants are getting larger, the small businesses are folding and automating, and they themselves will go out of business due to the fact that they're not operating in accordance with natural law. Now here's what I mean by that. Man makes all kinds of laws and signs treaties with other nations. We violate most of the treaties we sign. So do other nations. If it doesn't suit their interests, they will violate it. The Bible says thou shalt not kill. It doesn't say some people. It says thou shalt not kill. Jesus chased the money changers out of the temple. They're all back in now. And people say to me, you're trying to make the world a better place. My world is up there. And I said, you forgot the Lord's Prayer. Jesus said, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There's no business in heaven, no private property, no money, no banks. You understand? They don't even understand what they're reading. They're uneducated people and don't know how to assimilate. So they give people intelligence tests to see how intelligent they are. There's no such thing as intelligence. An electrical engineer of 75 years ago couldn't get a job today. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
He was intelligent then. There's no such thing as a civilized nation. No nation is civilized as long as you have war, crime, prisons, police. When people are properly educated, you find that we learn gradually. There's no fixed final frontiers. Everything changes. And we prepare people for social change continuously. That's why they don't say fresco cities is the best. That's an ego thing. I don't care. If you come along with a better design for a city, I get the hell out of the way because you can make my life better.